Hello, hello. I want to make games, and to do that, I need to use a couple of softwares. These softwares, I have broken them into different categories. So the first one is art, stroke design. I put all of this in one. One for game engine, IDE, sound, project management, and miscellaneous. Miscellaneous is what have to do with anything that I'm thinking of when it comes to outsourcing or using a generative AI or any type of AI. As I know, when you say AI, we only think of generative AI, but there's actually a lot to it that can be done from using that. But yeah. So for the first category, art and design, I'll be using Photoshop, Illustrator, and Adobe Animate. So all of these are from the Adobe Creative Suite. And obviously I'm using them because of the fact that I'm so used to using the first two, which is Photoshop and Illustrator. Adobe Animate has been something I've been using recently for projects, and it has been working out. It has been a very good experience. It works very well. For example, I can download sprite sheets of animations that I make in Animate and take it over to Unity, and just load the sprite sheets and things work. So what Adobe, the cons is that it's pricey. The fact that it drains your pocket. That's the only reason why most people hate Adobe. Most designers in general, everyone hates Adobe for that. And the fact that you can only use the software when you have or when you're paid, and that kind of sucks. So you don't own the software, you're literally renting the software. But other than that, the ecosystem is really cool. So the next app software stop saying that I'll be using I'm using is Affinity Designer, and I know there's a recent update as of October 2025 where Affinity Designer, Affinity Photo, and Affinity Publisher were all merged into one app called Affinity Studio. I've not migrated my workspace or everything I do there because I already bought the licenses for the old Affinity Studio, which is Affinity Photo, Affinity Publisher, and Designer. So I own those softwares. So I own them on iPad and desktop. So I have those licenses, and I'm actually very more comfortable using them because I know, yes, everything is in one app that is free, but I'll stick to using the one that I'm using. It works well for me and it works well on my pipeline. So in this category, I'll say Photoshop, the Adobe Photoshop, Illustrator, and Animate are the top tier. They're my first choice. And Affinity Designer / Studio is definitely, I wouldn't say it's my second choice, but I'll say it's just there because I use it. Funny thing is that I can do the same thing in Illustrator, but most times I start my work in Affinity Designer. Photoshop, Illustrator has a mobile app that works on iPad, but I enjoy using the Affinity Designer app because I feel like it's better when it comes to merging the workflow from iPad to desktop. So I actually enjoy using it more on iPad than desktop. So those are my two first choice. Those app softwares are like a must-have, the ones that I work with. There's Blender. Blender is also a very good app. It's a 3D software. Blender, the pros is that Blender is free, but the cons is that it's a long learning curve. I've been learning Blender for plus minus 3 to 4 years. And to be honest, I've not been very consistent, but I've been using it based on I need to get a project done, and then I use Blender. But I've not consistently used it because even as I want to make games, I want to mostly make 2D platform games, mostly 2D games where I can actually lean more on my strengths and focus on better storytelling. So Blender is in that list. Blender is definitely on the list of second choice. It's my second choice of an app that I can use even for animations, but I don't know how well it works with certain animations like 2D animations. I know there's Grease Pencil, but I'll just keep Blender there. So an app that I have just in case everything goes down. I usually have plan B, plan F, plan C. A plan probably F for me in this situation is Krita. So Krita is a very good pixel-based software. I've not used the recent updates, but I always have it somewhere just in case I need something and I cannot use the other ones that I got, even though Affinity is always there. But Krita is an app that I'll still put in my trusty companion, things that I want to use. So that does it for my art stroke design software. So now for the game engines. I don't know how to say this, but I have been using I got introduced into game development using Unity. However, I've tried using Godot, and I know when Unity had its Lego issues, when they actually wanted to, scrap the whole free tier option from using this for developers, Godot adopted the C# language, which most Unity developers use. Well, Unity is going to be my first choice. It's going to still be stick to be my first choice, because most of the things that I do, that I've learned to do in the past, have been on Unity, and projects that I've worked on with people has been on Unity. And even though most projects have been on the artistic side, where I create mostly arts and do other stuff, but I'm more conversant with Unity than Unreal and Godot. So to put it shortly, Unity is a first option and Godot is a second option, and then Unreal is maybe like a second maybe, which is like never. But I heard Unreal has a very good visual scripting functionality, and I'm like, I hope to try it one day. Then for my IDE, I've been using Visual Studio Code in place of Visual Studio. So I've been using VS Code in place of Visual Studio. So Unity is well paired with Visual Studio. However, I'm a Mac user, and actually Visual Studio on Mac has been discontinued. There are actually other cool options like Rider, which is good. Last year they tried to make it free for most game developers so that they can actually get people into the ecosystem. It works well. They have the buzzword AI integrated in like the workflow. It's good, especially when you have to like refactor code and you have to like make quick changes. VS Code is my first option. Okay, and then on the sound applications, obviously sound will be outsourced. Where when I mean outsourced, I mean I can find tunes and sound effects from asset stores or online asset stores online, some online asset stores. But if I have to like create something organically, applications that I'm used to using would be Adobe Audition. But Audition works, and I also used Audacity in the past, so I have Audacity as a second choice. And then down to the big boys. For project management. So project management, I've tried different methods in the past. I've used ClickUp, Trello, and I've realized in the past couple of years I like to write down things that I'm using and ideas that I have, processes that I want to follow. I like to see them written down, like having them on a whiteboard or just having notes of them. And here I think in as much as you can quickly automate things on Trello and ClickUp, it becomes, to be honest, like sometimes it becomes more of a hindrance when you're trying to like get everything right and be a perfectionist. So I'll say I'll just keep ClickUp and Trello as second choices, and then I'll stick with Excel and whatever notes that I take, because I always have a notebook that I write down the processes and document them, or I write them down on my notes on my iPad that I constantly use daily if I don't have a book and pen around. So yeah, those that's how I'll project manage. And if I wanted to track tasks, like set reminders, if I don't use Trello or ClickUp, I'll just stick to an old method that I use. I use Google Take. Basically, I just create a task. I have the application on my phone, on my iPad, and I have the web interface is just next to my so you can click on it. I can just do the basic thing, set the task, do that. But if I want a more nuanced method, I would say ClickUp is the best for this when it comes to setting setting a goal, setting a time frame that works. I can also do this in Excel. That can be done, but ClickUp has, when it's automated in a very beautiful way, aesthetically and like not just aesthetics, like the system of it. So ClickUp will be very good for that. So yeah, these are like things that I'll have. Oh, and everyone has that question: what of AI? With AI, I'll be honest to say that I would rather focus on doing the basic. I know there's the whole production. Oh, be productive, work faster. The whole point of all of this is to learn as I'm working. And I know, yes, AI is cool, but it can be a clutch. I can start depending too much on it. So I'll just keep it on the side. just like worst case scenarios. And definitely outsourcing. I have the Unity Asset Store is a cool place if I need assets, and some other websites that come in handy like this. And yeah, so these are a list of tools, things that I've put down and said, okay, fine. These are the things that I've been using. Most of them I've been using, and these are things that I can actually put as a pipeline, put as a system, create a system of using all of them to work on the project. And down the line, I would obviously find different options or different ones that I think might work, or things that might do a better job or make it easier. But the whole point of having all of this is doing something, keep doing it, and finding the better way to do it. So that is the whole point and the whole goal. So yeah, what tools do you use? What tools do you think I can use? What software, what application or website or anything? You can leave a comment, let me know. You can also like, subscribe if you've not. Thanks for being here. Until next time, bye.